Today, I'm doing something a little different because I like to mix it up every now and then. I'm going to help you understand one of the most difficult languages in the world to comprehend. By the end of this video, you will be fluent in Aussie slang and idioms, and you may even be able to hold a conversation with an Australian. Oh, or maybe not. No one writing advice. Let's start with some singular words before we move on to more complex phrases. Because I'm feeling bloody famished right now, let's start with some tucker. That is, food. If it's lunchtime and I'm hungry enough to eat the bum out of a low-flying duck, snuck an Aussie idiom in there, I might make myself a sanger. That is, a sandwich. See, we Australians have a naughty little habit of cutting the end off a word and replacing it with an A. We are a simple people. For example, if I don't feel like making a sanger myself, I might go down to Macca's, that is McDonald's, and get a bored teenager with no food handling, preparing, or assembling skills to make a meal for me. But Macca's isn't really Australian, is it? So let's discuss the Australian national dish. Bangers and mash. That is, sausages and mashed potato. Look, I'm glad we're a multicultural society because if I had to live off plain meat and potatoes, I would probably. No, I won't say that one. I was going to reference a well known Australian incident, but. So, after that big feed of Macca's, probably about 4 minutes later, you're gonna need to go to the dunny, that is, the toilet. I should add, dunny has fallen out of usage in recent times, but it is a classic and you may still encounter it in the wild. What do we do for fun here in Australia, aside from boxing kangaroos? Well, we might go to a bush doof, which is essentially a music festival in the bush, the Australian woods, and listen to electronic dance music, hence the doof. Bush doof. Really, the explanation's in the label. At the bush doof, people will undoubtedly be ingesting pingers, that is, pills containing the for medical use only substance MDMA, leading to some bush doofers getting munted, that is, extremely intoxicated. If you want to leave the party early, you'll need to do a Harold Holt and bolt. That is, leave quickly and without explanation. The phrase refers to former Australian Prime Minister Harold Holt, who was indeed the first Australian to perform the Harold Holt when he vanished from the bush doof without a trace. No, he wasn't actually at a bush doof. I think he was swimming. Either way, wherever he went, he's still not back. If you're really excited or animated about something, maybe your footy team won the grand final, you might be going off like a frog in a sock. If you can picture it, it's self-explanatory. If you're really busy, just going non-stop, you might be flat out like a lizard drinking. Once again, if you can picture it, it explains itself. In certain circles, you may hear the phrase, she or he has a face like a dropped pie, meaning it doesn't look good. But you know, after a few drinks, what does it matter? A pie's a pie, dropped or not. It's a rough insult, and I don't condone anyone using it seriously. But look, it gets even rougher when you use it to describe certain other parts of the human anatomy. So yeah, don't do that either. In the final part of the video, we're going to cover some of the cruder aspects of the Australian tongue, so there will be some coarse language. I'm not going to censor anything in this video because I'm trying to teach you our language and culture, and I don't believe that should be censored. But after hearing these next examples, you might disagree. Language warning. Firstly, and most importantly, when communicating with an Australian, please know that the word cunt can be a term of endearment. Him is a good cunt. The positive adjective good modifies the often negative C word noun. Yes, I'm going to use naughty words sparingly, so hopefully this video doesn't get buried by the algorithm. Similarly, if an Australian says, "What's going on, cunt?" they're initiating friendly conversation. If, on the other hand, they say, "What's going on, champ?" you may be about to get into a fight. Essentially, champ, as in short for champion, is one of the greatest insults under the hot Australian sun. If an Australian says to you, "I'm not here to fuck spiders," it means, "I'm not mucking around. I'm going to get the job done and in good time." Wherever you're from, you'll likely be familiar with either the imperial or the metric system. In Australia, we use a modified version of the metric system that includes an additional measurement, the bee's dick. For example, if someone tosses a can of VB at you, that's a local beer Australians pretend to like, and it misses you by a B stick, it means it missed you by the smallest margin possible without actually hitting you. Look, I could go on all day, and I feel like we've only just scratched the surface of the Australian vernacular. So, if you'd like me to continue the lessons with future videos, let me know in the comments. But if not, she'll be apples. If you enjoyed this video, hit subscribe. If you didn't enjoy this video, hit subscribe anyway and hate watch my content. That's always fun.